Are you kidding me? That's what?
Yeah, every so often it happens that Ryan is right.
100% right. Not even a little bit right.
Tucker Pullman, 2 points last game.
No kidding.
My man!
Hey, neither does me running shirtless, but that turned out very well.
Welcome to the PP1 Podcast.
Oh, we powered up. We got big. We gotta,
speaking of that, we gotta change up that tarps off photo in the intro.
I feel like that's like our legacy.
Needs to be updated, I feel like.
Oh, like a new version of the same thing? Or just not tarps off?
Yeah, it could be like, because what do all the speed skaters wear? Like unitards?
Yeah. Hey,
so
man.
It could be, instead of tarps off, it could be like tards on.
We don't use that kind of language here.
Okay.
Oh,
okay.
All right.
First and first, mostly.
We are. Oh wait, I might even have that. Oh shoot, no.
Mostly for me, it's about family. First and first, mostly. Let me tell you what I'm wearing.
Unitards is what we're wearing. I like that. I like where your head's at tonight. That's good. That's good. Welcome to the PP1 Podcast. We're on the Hockey Podcast Network. We're also brought to you by DraftKings, promo code THPN. But the Hockey Podcast Network, in case you're wondering, it's a menagerie of hockey podcasts. If you like hockey and you think, hey, oh, wow, we're going to get to that in a second. If you like hockey and you have ears and a phone, you can listen to our show and many others. Trust the process. You can listen to them. They're also a semi-Canucks podcast. I say semi because they only talk about it for like, I don't know, 10 minutes.
That's good. I thought you were talking about your semi, so that's good.
Not tonight. Depends on how the trade deadline goes. We may have a full-on or a semi. We'll see. So what's up, Grant? How you doing, buddy? Appreciate it. Comment along like Grant on either YouTube, Facebook, or Twitter. That's what we're calling it. So that's we're gonna talk some hockey tonight.
Did you post that we're on live? Is that what happened?
Yeah. That's what I did.
Okay, good. I was like, how does he know? That's amazing.
Well, he probably subscribes to us, Ted. I mean, the neat thing about subscribing to people's channels is that's the whole point. You know when they go live. You likely get a notification.
Like, I take great pride in subscribing to nobody.
That's not going to help our followers.
Also not true.
That's not going to help our followers. So we've got, I mean, this by circumstance, not necessarily convenience, but a little convenience. We are 2 days before the NHL trade deadline. It's already been bananas. Noah Hannafin went to Vegas. That's a big deal, I guess, depending on how they
pretty big, yeah.
You know, I've subbed and I was waiting in the channel 10 minutes late. Yeah, well, that you can think. Hey, man, it's our show. We can decide when we go. Sometimes we're just sitting there. It's like it says it's on my screen. It's like it's showtime. I'm like, I know. So. Noah Hannafin. We saw that. We saw the Casey Middlestat for Bowen Byram. That was
wild.
I looked. I'm like, these are words. These are real words. It's pretty impressive.
We had the Edmonton trade for a bunch of guys.
Yeah, the Adam Henrique. That it seems like everyone else in the NHL that is trying to go for it figured it out, because this is the year. Like, hey, well, if these guys are kind of going for it, we're pretty close to them. We should go for it. So we'll get into a few of those other things.
Well, yeah, bunch of great trades in terms of topic. It's stuff to go on. Some real funny ones, some salary dump stuff, like some overpayments,
some LTIR cap circumvention. Like, gotta love the NHL. You gotta love the lawyers that have. Are you changing up the scenery here?
I was just doing a funny thing here. I got it.
Okay. So yeah, we're gonna talk about trades. We're gonna likely talk about Tyler Toffoli because I can't help myself. We're gonna get into you talking about Phil Peronik's next deal because, everybody probably heard me screaming out loud that apparently I don't know if anybody else knows this, but Quinn Hughes.
Can't believe we had this conversation last night.
Quinn Hughes is making like what $7.8 million a year, which, I mean, it would be more of a robbery hearing that right now than me walking into a bank with a gun and asking for cash.
I mean,
I'm
that fits right into the Philip Arona conversation too. So that'll be interesting
absolutely.
to get into.
And then here's another thing. I don't know if anybody else knows this. Had the previous regime signed Pettersson to an actual deal and not a bridge deal, they could have saved $4 million a season. That's a lot.
It's a whole player.
Mean, I've been thinking about
that's
this.
Carson Soucy in a minor leaguer.
I've been thinking about this for a couple days, and I'm like, soon as he signed it, I'm like, okay, he basically signed for 12. Let's just round up for conversation's sake. And
on a deal.
Yeah, an absolute sweetheart deal to the Canucks, and he's still getting paid. I'm sure he's happy.
500, maybe $1 million.
But like, the bridge deal cost them $4 million more a year, which is like, just saying that angers me.
It's hurtful.
Saying it to you angers you. It's like, it's offensive.
Well, you remember how mad I was about this.
Oh, I know.
And I think like we used, like I'll always go back to the Subban thing, right? When Montreal made the move to decide on a bridge deal for PK Subban.
Mm-hmm.
What are you thinking?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think this guy is not a stud, right? Instead, he has to play out his bridge deal. Then they have to sign him to the monster deal so that you're paying back end years for a player who's like very clearly going to fall off of like a cliff in terms of production.
Totally.
Which he absolutely did. And then comes the Predators Montreal trade for Shea Weber, Subban straight up. And then a couple of years goes by, Subban's on a few different teams, and then boom, he's out of the league, right? Why could he not have that should have been like the lesson to lock a player up who maybe had a bit of a subpar season, but was very clear that he was all world, right? I mean,
but the NHL just never learns those lessons.
Is it the NHL or is it just like the old school?
Well, both. But I mean, at the same time, Jim Rutherford's also made some interesting moves that we celebrated as Canucks fans back in the day. I mean, like get Branson and Tanner Pearson and like, like it's not.
Yeah, but can you learn from those lessons, right? I mean,
oh, absolutely. So there is some old school, and I think, but he's one of those guys like, and he's
Branson
late.
Also has some Undertaker in him.
Yeah, that's true. Like, he's late in the game, but he's learning. Like, this is not a teach a dog new tricks, but it's almost like, all right, well, I'm smart enough to know I probably kind of screwed that up.
And how does that work, right? Like,
yeah, but
is it all just
that?
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like,
is it all just Rutherford, or is it like Rutherford and Alvin plays a role in that, right? Like
Hammy and everybody
younger,
else.
forward thinking, right? But then you also need the old school guy who's just like has those relationships and has those connections and can help make that move, right? I mean, it's kind of the best of both worlds. It's to sort of need each other going through that and what they're doing here in Vancouver now.
I think what's not getting enough publicity, and I mean, there's the figureheads, there's the face of the franchise as far as management goes, which is Alvin and Rutherford, but I think we also have to bring back a little bit like the Cami Granados. We got to bring back the Emily Castanagays. Like these, and I don't know what they do exactly, like what they're bringing to the back end side of things, like the guts part of where this team is. And I just like, maybe these wait a sec people finally exist in Vancouver. Yeah. And like the guys that pull the trigger at the end are like, okay, after all the research we've done, these are the moves that we need to be making because enough people that are smart enough know better. And everybody's saying like, yeah, this is the move for sure. Like we've been talking and I've been thinking about this. These are, I mean, those two women that joined the Canucks, we made a big deal about it when they were signed, when that whole change happened, that whole culture change. And I don't know if it's a good thing that it's been quiet, that we don't hear their names a lot. It's kind of like we talked about this last week, like having a defenseman that, if we're not talking about them, that means they're doing something really well. So maybe because they're doing such a great job behind the scenes, like we're not hearing about everything else that's going on because they're keeping everything in house. And maybe that's it. Maybe like the whole Pettersson thing, from what it sounds like, they had a date, to get this all done by just before the trade deadline. And everyone's freaking out that Pettersson might be mad and this, that, and the other. And it seemed like far from the truth. So maybe they're actually keeping all these things in house long enough that, we all stew in the media and the fan base and everything. And we all think we know, or someone's got an inside tip, when really it's the complete opposite. And we're actually just getting to see what actually happens at the end.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like this whole Jake Gensel, Jake DeBrusk, and who's the third guy? Elias Lindholm. This whole like three-way trade that has been rumored and everybody's been talking about might happen. I mean, that's a great deal if that all works. And then you start hearing like Hoglander's name get in there. And I mean,
I don't think that's going to happen. And we can talk about that too.
And I know. And that's another one of those things. So we're going to get into trade deadline. The big news today, if you follow on Twitter or Facebook or whatever, it's a big day in the sports card world. It's Series 2 day.
How did you get that?
Well, I pre-ordered it like months ago. This wasn't cheap.
How much was that?
That one was $180.
Okay.
They're going to be selling for like 4 times that in about a month. I'm dead for the exact same box because
you're just going to not open it.
Oh, I'm opening it. No, we'll have it open. Don't worry. And then we got a blast.
What if you just didn't open it? And then like 5 years from now, you're like, look at this.
Because here's the thing. There's 2 schools of thought. We talked about this today. Do you hold on and assume Bedard continues his ascension? Or do you open it now, and if you get what you're looking for, you max out and you cash in? Or you hold on to it and getting that card, and then watching it rise. I had a Trevor Zegras, his Young Guns. There was a canvas, like the alternate black circle, blah, blah, blah. So that was the harder one to get. And I moved on that one within like a month or two for like $450. Where's Trevor Zegras right now? Do you think it's worth $450 for that card? Probably. But
not. Is Trevor Zegras the whole set, right? I mean, you got $400. That pack, like that box, was $190.
Mm-hmm.
Like where do you think that could be in 4 or 5 years from now? And is it all dependent on Bedard?
In this case, this series would be like, that's the card you want. That's the guy. I mean, there's other cards, but the card of value, this is up there with the McDavids. It's up there with, I mean, Lafreniere.
What's a Bedard rookie card from that set going for?
Oh my gosh. There's just nothing going on. I already think it's, $400 or $500 already. And
did you hear about that like OG, like OPC case that just sold?
I would, if you have the money to have won that, I would open it. Because your Gretzky, like, there's no way a Gretzky rookie is going to like double up again. Like he's at consistent value, and these are all going to be mint too, right? You're going to probably pull a handful of Gretzky's in a case. Yeah. So I mean, you're going to get these mint cards. You're going to go get them graded.
You got that year 2 as a Tikkanen card.
That's true. That's probably worth $5. So I think. Yeah, I think at that point, if you've had it, I would open it at that point, because you're never going to see. I don't think you could see the value jump again. I think it's a one-time hit in this.
You need like another round of COVID.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, maybe measles will take off.
None of that.
Yeah, don't do that. So anyway, this will be opened. Might have to wait till the end of the weekend because we got provincials for skating this weekend. So I'll be out of town. So also why we're doing the show today, because I don't have time on Friday. So could be interesting. There is a bounty there's a gold.
Thank God for Christine.
Yeah, I know.
Because otherwise, I don't know if it's your kids ended up with your athletic ability.
I mean, they would be decent.
They'd still be good.
They'd be decent. That's about it. That would be the extent of it. They'd be like, wow, like they're pretty good.
It's fine. I'm just like, I reach for ways to shit talk you. It's cool.
I'm literally the least talented athlete in our family, and that's saying something. So, as we're talking, like, if you do this, like, you could, here's your ascension plan to the Olympics, and then there's me. It's like, man, if I hit one more home run in my career,
thinking about moving to C League this year.
Yeah, guys, I think we should do.
Got a slow pitch ERA of 9.5.
I think we should go to competitive this year, you guys. I'm really feeling it, not just competitive rec, but so.
Got this
anyway,
slow pitch move where I take a step to the left and then pitch it.
That's a good idea. That's not a bad idea at all.
No, you should try it. I don't know. I'm not a pitcher, so
I got a few things. I got to just make sure that my legs and stuff are good, because the way I pitch.
Well, maybe we should start doing leg days then.
I might have to. So anyway, Connor Bedard stuff. Like I was saying before you cut me off so rudely, by the way. There's a 1-of-1 gold outburst Bedard Young Gun there's a bounty for $1 million. One of one. So who knows? Maybe I'm moving after I open this box.
And you think we'll ever get to the point where it'll be like, they're telling Dr. Evil that like $1 million isn't actually that much anymore?
That would be great, Hayes. Like, yeah, most people can afford that now. Most people have houses worth that. So I did tease this on Twitter. I didn't even tell you. This is how much I teased this. Chatted with Rick Dollywall. You guys ready for this?
Scoop.
You guys ready for this? This is Rick Dollywall in the DMs. So just chatted with Rick. Just asked him like, hey, we're going live tonight. We haven't chatted with Rick in a bit. And I said, is there anything we can leak on the show tonight? Rick's a good friend of the show. We've had him on. Trying to get him a round of golf when he comes out here. That'll be lots of fun. So he's seen how I golf and approves of my videos. So that's great. You ready for this, Ted?
Yeah, hit me.
I said, is there anything we can share tonight? He goes, nothing going on, but they continue to be aggressive looking for a top 6 forward. The Gensel price is too high. There you go. Straight from Rick Dollywall.
So that leaves us with what? Gagne. That leaves us with Toffoli. Henrique's off the market, which looks like it was a lot for Henrique too.
That was a bit of a price.
So like, what is Toffoli then? Toffoli is
our
like
viewers going to drop now that I've teased like what actually happens. Like, well, Ryan, he's already kind of tweeted that. Yeah, but he told me, and now it's official. So shut up.
Pretty soon you're gonna get a check mark beside your
It's like what just
name
happened?
on the platform formerly known as Twitter.
Yeah, I don't know what just happened, but we blew up tonight.
From the franchise formerly located in Phoenix.
Oh my gosh. I think the Winnipeg thing's even scarier, isn't it?
It's weird.
So yeah, the trade deadline right now is kind of looking interesting. Jay Gensel obviously still out there. It sounds like the price, I mean, stating the obvious, but from the rumors that are out there, and I don't know, what do you believe on these rumors? But I mean, is Jay Gensel worth all those things? And if the rumored, like what the couple things we've seen, like Höglander going back, well, then you have another problem because Jay Gensel is one person. He's not two. And you can't fill Huggy's role without getting one more person, and you're not going to bring someone up. So that just doesn't make sense. I am still sticking on this, and I brought this up many months ago, and I will stick to this. It is still Tyler Toffoli, and I hear Greenway is the other one. I don't mind that.
I like the Greenway thing too.
What is I don't know your game, as Shaq would have said. I'm sorry, man. I didn't realize your game. Like, what would he go for? Like, what would that cost the Canucks?
I don't know. I mean, Greenway, like he's having a bounce back year. Right, he's got 10 goals already this year, or something like that. I think close to 20 points or more.
Yeah.
And I guess we can look up his salary while I'm talking on this, but
I'm doing it.
I believe that Jordan Greenway is basically the paid version at this point in time of Dakota Joshua, right? So
okay, it's
very like I don't know if he forechecks the same way. He's a big body, obviously. He's like not hyper aggressive, but like. I mean, he does a little bit of everything, right? He kind of does a lot of the things that you kind of wanted, like Zach Kassian to do when they made those trades back in the day to get Kassian on the roster.
Yeah.
And I don't
230.
Yeah, boy. Big fella, right? I mean, I can't remember what Kassian's stats are, but probably pretty freaking close to that. So yeah, it's been very apparent how much this team has missed Dakota Joshua without him in the lineup, and Baines looked good in his call up. I think that was the first thing I noticed about Podkolzin when he came up, is that he didn't look like amazing, but he was physical and he was big and he was sort of leaning on guys. He's not a huge guy, but he plays like a big guy, right? And I think they need that in that role. And if anything were to happen to Joshua throughout the course of the playoffs, there's got to be somebody else that can fill that void.
Because we're now realizing what Joshua, like across the process, they were talking about it. Like we kind of used to look at Dakota Joshua and like, all right, like, he's gone and, he brings a lot. But now you're realizing like he's important. One of the glue guys, man. Like he's actually one of the guys that matter this season.
There's just so few players, Ryan, in the league that that do what Joshua does at his size, right? Like, so there's big players in this league, obviously, right?
Yeah.
But that level of aggressiveness in terms of skating and forechecking, he's a heady player. We talked about that in the Rayburn episode, right?
He's energy.
He's got some energy. He's defensively smart. I mean, there was an absolute, like, with a bullet roll for him on the third line with Bluger and Garland. And once you remove that, I mean, none of those players have been doing exactly what they were doing without him on the roster like they were before, right? So, and even before the injury, you and I were talking about, like, why not see what he can do with a guy like Petey, right? And so I think the club, looks at what role Joshua has filled and thought to themselves, like, wouldn't be a terrible idea if we were to get our hands on another player like that. And that's why I think Greenway would be a solid selection if that's who they end up with. Like, if we're being completely honest, and it was Toffoli or it was Greenway, I'd be happy with either of those guys, as long as we didn't pay an absolute premium for it. But
do you not think they could get both?
Maybe. I mean, but who are you removing from the lineup, though, if you get both? So, like, Nils Åman, right? Who else comes out of the lineup at that point?
Well, Åman, didn't he get sent down?
Did he?
I think so.
Right? There's still the Phil Kessel thing.
But then,
right? That's got to happen right at trade deadline if they're going to sign Kessel or not, right? Is he part of the roster? Is he part of the plans? No, there's been no leak or word of that.
Right. And I think
now we're talking about 3 players possibly ending up on this squad. I know Friedman's there, Åman. They just sat down Pug Colson.
And I mean, at the end of the day, like, again, injury or not, or recovery from injury or not, like, at this point, again, you can't have passengers. So at what point they're going to have to make a call on Mikheyev. Like, I'm not here to crap on it, but
we spent a bunch of last episode talking about Mikheyev and my thoughts on him from when he doesn't have the
and again, and that's fine. It's just there, and I've heard this elsewhere. Like, we talk about running at a time back in the day. They have to make a call on this, because right now he is on this team and he's not being benched. He's not being healthy scratched. And if you want to be that dangerous, and they're bringing in other guys, whether it's defensemen or, these energy, gritty forwards or a goal scoring winger, whatever that looks like, whatever player you're bringing in, you're trying to better your team. And Mikheyev at this exact moment, and for a good portion of the season, regardless, has not brought that next level. And you can't just have a guy that is like a net zero. At some point, there has to be a bit of a risk reward.
Well, I mean, but net zero is such a funny term, right? Like, I haven't looked at Höglander's underlying numbers, but he's close to 20 goals. Is he at 20 already?
I'm pretty close, yeah.
Right? Close to 20 goals, plays like 13 minutes a night, right?
Yeah.
Like, there's players that exist on rosters that score goals that are poor defensive players. Does that make them a net zero?
He's got 19 goals.
Does that make a player a net zero if they're scoring goals, but he gets hurt defensively?
No, well, no, because there's.
Then why would it work the opposite way around if you're not scoring goals, but you don't get scored on? Like, there's some value in that, right?
I hate that you're kind of right here. I'm not gonna lie.
Hate what?
I said I hate that you're kind of right here.
It's kind of the same thing, right? I mean, I always think of Chris Tanev, right? When in his prime, Chris Tanev was like, the defensive version of an offensive juggernaut, right? Like,
yeah,
guys that were just putting up, like, he was like the defensive version of Carlson, right? Like, for everything that Carlson
putting up insane non-offensive numbers.
Exactly, right? And there is value to that. And that's why a guy like Tanev has value, even though he doesn't put up points.
I guess, are you relying 100% then that all you're going to get out of this guy is a defensive effort?
No, I think that's why they're continuing to play him, and I think continuing to try to put him in good situations, because they want that other side of his game to come out, right?
Right. Yeah.
And I think if that's all that happens, there could be worse things, right? What's the equivalent of a $4.5 million player who doesn't score and gets scored on frequently? Pretty sure his name's Louis Eriksson.
You didn't give me an opportunity to say. Yeah,
Sorry.
That's what I was going to say.
Right? I mean, so what would you rather have?
Yeah. I don't like you for this.
I don't know. I'm not hating on you. I get where you're coming from. 100%. He needs to start producing. But there's also a role for a guy like that on the squad.
I think going forward, though, it's tough because you get more defensive in the playoffs. You need to be more reliant on not giving up goals for sure. It's a tough one.
That leads me right into like the next question, right? Like, who's a player who was lights out offensively that didn't really hold a candle defensively that this squad had for a while? I'm waiting this time to give you a chance to answer.
Oh man, lights out offensively but didn't hold defensively.
Basically got traded for this. It was Kuzmenko.
Oh, right. Okay.
So what happens the moment that Kuzmenko stops?
I kept thinking
performing
for 10, but I kept knowing I was wrong.
Yeah, except for missing the offense there. What happens if Kuzmenko stops performing offensively and he still can't do his job defensively?
Then you're a zero, not a net.
Then you're worse than a zero, right?
Yeah.
You're like a negative player, right? So it's the same thing. Just we're talking offensive players and defensive
Why
players.
you got to bring logic into the game? This is supposed to be a fun show. Jeez. You're really ruining this, Ted. Let's talk about something.
Well, I mean, let's hate on.
Can we talk about goals now? Can I talk about goals? Actually, first, before we do, can you talk about the beer that you've got there? As you're like chugging like a full gulp there.
Yeah.
So what do we got here? Looks like Yellow Dog.
Yellow Dog.
Mm-hmm.
So out in Port Moody.
Yep.
This one's my personal favorite, coconut porter.
That's
Chew Toy. It's all like dog themed beers. We got a brewery like that here in town too in Kelowna.
We do.
But this one is just like the coconut is for real. Obviously, you know that I'm coconuts for coconuts.
I like where you're going here.
Yeah, like so coconut that like I'm a bro nut.
You are a bro.
Bro nut.
Bro Canucks go. Bro.
Yeah, so really good. Recommend this. They got a new. This used to just be like a brown can, right? Like they got some.
That's right. That's probably
on there and stuff, right? Yeah. Like they've redone their labeling. Love it.
They're going for it.
Good stuff.
They're going for it. It's almost like it's almost like it's their year to go for it. Can we talk about goals? Can I talk about some fun stuff? So last game was a big deal for the Vancouver Canucks.
Kind of all big deals right now, eh?
They are. We now have 3 guys on the Canucks, and I didn't get into the 20 goal scorers, but the Canucks now have 3 30-goal scorers on their team. Brock Lesnar, Elias Pettersson, and Jette Miller. 30 goals plus. 3 guys on our team. I don't know how you can't get excited about that because I'm
awesome.
Like it's incredible. You've got Niels at 19. You got Lindholm, who was added at 13. Dakota Joshua's at 13. Garland, like it does kind of dip a little bit. That's for sure.
It's coming from the usual suspects, and it's pretty spread out past that, right?
You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 guys with 10 goals or more, and then you've got the 3 at 30 and above, and then you've got a lot of defensemen, obviously, who aren't going to be scoring as many goals, which is fine. That's normal. So,
like, would you like at the start of the year had it been like a weird stretch to say that Nils Höglander is outscoring guys like Elias Lindholm or Connor Garland or Quinn Hughes for that matter? It's pretty wild. It's
impressive to see that the development program that they've had for these guys is really paying off couldn't be a better time. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, Höglander's look great this season. It was really nice to see Podkolzin for whatever that was. And I believe the only reason he got sent down is what they're saying is so that he's eligible for the Calder Cup playoffs. So
paper.
Yeah.
Plus it saves them cap space.
Yeah. It's a paper deal. So anyway, pretty cool. The Canucks also have won 2 straight. They're slowly bucking the trend. The game against LA, although it wasn't like a barn burner.
So fucking boring.
At the same time, like when the fans start booing the Canucks for just holding the puck and just having puck possession, it's kind of nice to be fans of that team, of the team that's toying a little bit. I mean, Thatcher Demko kept him in that game, that 8 alarm save that he made. I mean, if I were to show you that breakaway or that 2-on-1 live to someone that didn't know what happened, how much money, if I gave you $100, how much of that would you bet that that's a goal scored?
Oh, I don't
almost
know.
All of it.
Like 95%.
That was an incredible, and he made the same
It
save.
was bonkers. You got to get it up though, bud. That's that's your fault. You should have scored that goal. Whatever though, super mega dope save.
It was like I just stood up and wife's doing her stuff for a skate meet. I'm like, you got to see this. She goes, I don't care. I said, I don't care if you don't care. I said, you got to see this save.
I care.
It's like,
Look.
this is insane. Like he made that same save against was it Boston or who did they play in overtime where they lost when he made that massive glove save? It wasn't Boston.
No, was it not at LA? No, we got spanked by LA.
Or Pittsburgh, maybe.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Maybe
he's made that save twice in like a week and a half. This time for reals. It's a lot of fun to be watching Thatcher Demko. And the nice thing is you're getting that backup with Casey DeSmith. So hopefully the dividends are still continuing to pay off on that. We'll get into the trades in a bit. You know who I really like though? So we go from goals to defensemen. You know who I've really, really liked in the last little bit here? Zadorov and Juleson. Like,
man, right?
That LA game was kind of like the pinnacle for me. I'm sitting there, I'm like, why do I like these guys so much right now? Like, I'm like, Noah Juleson, I'm Ron Burgundy. And like, they're both, I'm thinking like, yes, I will subscribe to this. Like Grant, I'm subscribed. Like, I'm telling you, like, I'm sitting there, I'm like, I should be more excited about other players. And yet here we are in the year of our Lord, 2024. And Nikita Zadorov and Noah Juleson are a thing right now.
I mean,
like,
Zadorov has been making like some nice plays too. Like that feed, like that little like look him off feed to score to Garland was ridiculous. Like that's some nice vision from the big man.
We need like a Brangelina name for these guys or something.
For Zadorov and Juleson.
And Juleson, yeah, we got to think of something here. Put it out to the people. If you guys get something, let us know.
Could be Zadulson.
Zadulson or
could be Noah Zadorov. Could be Nikita Juleson.
Juledorov. No, that doesn't work. Nikulson.
Remember when it was like Vesa Toskala and Evgeny Nabokov, and it was like Veskeny Toskabov.
Yeah. Or I always got Zenon Konopka. I always called him Zanopka because that was slow.
Yeah.
True story. Anyway.
That was like one of the only guys that did he not like hit Bieksa on the button that one time? I can't remember.
I think so. Yeah. He was a bit of a dude.
He's a tough guy.
But I mean, get back to it for a second. They are a lot of fun to watch as a defensive pairing. Like they're banging around.
They step up on guys.
Plays. Like you just kind of like, that's our guy. That's our guy. I mean, I'm sure BX is probably a big fan of what's going on. They had him in the intermission, and I think I don't know. It's to see that spark, and you know,
Kevy Likey
warms the cockles of your heart, even the subcockles. Like this is fun when we're getting to the, you know, when you find
down in the annals of the stadium.
Yes. You just look at this team. You know, when you have like that team, and you start getting excited about the guys that are like third and fourth liners, second and third defensive pairing guys, the black aces. You're like, man, that guy brings something. Like, where are we here?
I feel like we were talking about this like 3-4 weeks ago, and I was like, we spent time with all these other teams, right? And that's not the case with this team. So many new faces that we've kind of had to like take time to get to know them and warm up to them, and now we're there.
Yeah,
you know, now we're talking about like what value a guy. Well, we've always talked about guys like, you know, DiGiuseppe and stuff, like, you know, what value a guy like Teddy Brugger's been for this roster, right? Like what a role, like, oh man, like loving that forechecking from Sam Lafferty, like, ooh, big body, skates really well. Like if this were 5 years ago, we wouldn't have given a crap.
No.
We're like, oh man,
at least we
I
got some. I
cannot believe Sam Lafferty has 20 points. Like it's time to trade him while he's got some value. Like,
or that's the only thing we've got to talk about. Like, well, at least we got some to talk about. Like, how about Bo Horvat? Like, I hear he might score 30 this season.
Hey, yeah, Boho still a heck of a player.
It just like that's what we were getting excited about. Like, well, you know, maybe Bo deserves more. Maybe he deserves more of a role as a captain. Maybe we need to celebrate him more. Now it's just like, how about our fourth line?
How about our backup goalie?
Yeah, how about our
seventh defenseman?
Like, what is going on? Just stupid. So
Yeah, love it.
I put in the rundown Ryan Likey is what it
Ryan
says.
Likey. Teddy Likey, good to see Casey DeSmith get back on the wagon. Like, really severely had his numbers hurt from that loss, right? Just when you don't play that much, can't accumulate stats properly.
It sucks statistically for him because he's the goalie.
And he can't come back from that, right? He doesn't play enough games to, like, what a shutout isn't going to help his, his GAA, right? Like,
or you ain't getting the Jennings this year.
No, like, not, sorry, man. You're, because of that one game, you're a 3-goal-a-game goalie again. Like, you had one bad game, right? So it was good to see, DeSmith get back in. Like, it was good to see Susie get back in. Like, we got to see, Baines the last couple of weeks. You had Pog Holes into that mix. Like, Friedman's got in there for a few. Jules is still sitting around doing his thing. Hey?
I was saying Ian Cole can kind of do his thing again.
Yeah.
Like, when you have all those guys, then the guys that had to take on a role don't need to take on a role anymore, and now they can do their thing. And
we need. This is like, again, it's a year of first. Like, we need Myers to come back. Like, we need Myers. We need him.
We're at the 36-12 mark of the show. It's official. We don't want him to leave. We need him.
Yeah, we need Myers to come back. We need a well-rested Cole. Like, we need Susie. Like, thank goodness these guys are starting to filter their way back in. And you got the rundown, but Dak is on his way.
Yep. All good things. Okay. Do you want to talk about trade deadline or Philip Hronik's hopefully not contract that goes above Quinn Hughes?
Yeah, I thought we were going to talk about that. Sure, let's do it. Philip Hronik.
Okay.
Was it preseason or the start of the season, or was it the end of last season that we were talking about Philip Hronik? And I was like, this guy could get $8 million. That could happen. And I think you thought I was crazy.
No, I thought you were crazy this season when we were talking about it. I said, there's no way this was probably like November, December. And I said,
it's like a get the bag combo, him and Besser, right?
Yeah. And now he can't be in the 8s. I'm sorry. He can't be. You can't.
He might not be with Vancouver.
There's a good chance
he can be in the 8s. That's
true. But you can't. I don't know. I don't think you can go from 4 whatever to 8. Like, that's
this is like literally verbatim the same conversation we had back in November.
I'm gonna rehab this only because
you can't make 100% raise.
You can't have a 200%.
Why can't you? Raise. We just talked about saving $4 million because we didn't lock up a separate player.
Do you honestly believe that as a value and as a jump that Philip Hronik is worth double of what he's getting?
No, not at all.
That's what you're saying, though.
No, I'm saying what will and can happen. They're two different things.
Okay. I'll agree to disagree.
Two very different things.
So you think as an overall value, he should be in the 8s?
I think as an overall value, he can get 8.
Okay.
He can get 8. There's only like a couple defensemen in the league who have more points at 5-on-5 than Philip Hronik. He's been an absolute monster. He's already up to 40 assists, and there's how many games left in this season? Plays humongous minutes, is right-handed, is only 26.
Yeah, he's got 40 assists. You're not lying.
Man, what does your boy Damon Severson make?
Oh,
because I have a hard time thinking of defenseman, but he just signed a big deal this year.
Okay, no. Hey, I will give you that. Just a second. Bear with me.
Look, I don't know if he's gonna, Brian.
Yeah,
but he could get the bag. It might not be in Vancouver, but he could easily ask for that. Like, now, hey, big perk for you, Phil. Like
6'2". He's getting 6'2".
6.2 for Severson. Who do you think's a better defender?
I don't want to answer that.
Come on.
I don't want to answer.
A better defender?
Philip Hronik's a better defender.
Philip Hronik.
Yes, I said it there.
And he's making 6.2. So what does he make then? If Damon Severson's making 6.2,
probably in the 7s then.
Okay, mid high sevens.
So I would stick in the 7s, and I think then you can at least have him for. You probably sign up for what, a 6-year deal?
Yeah,
Six at 7.
it's the new age version of the Dan Hamhuis deal.
6 at 7. That's a healthy.
Yeah,
That's a healthy raise.
and if he signs that, great. I think there has to be some perk to saying, bro, like your running mate is Quinn Hughes.
Well, that's all I'm saying is, and this is my argument. He can't make more than Quinn Hughes. That's all.
Why not?
Because he's not Quinn Hughes. You can't pay another guy more than the best freaking guy that's ever played for your team.
Look,
You can't. It's. Just,
I know Boston did that for years when Ray Bourque was there. They're like, nobody can make more than Ray, and it was like, but man, like,
so the difference.
Ray took a shit contract, and now nobody can make any money.
Yeah, but Quinn Hughes didn't. I mean,
you didn't even know that he only made that much money, Ryan.
And I know, and it sucks that that's all he's making. It's ridiculous. He should be in the 12s.
Okay, a couple questions here. So curious on you guys' thoughts on Lindholm getting flipped. I think we can talk about that at the trade deadline part.
You just answered.
And then he says, just because it's on the Hronek thing, and what they could flip Hronek for at the draft if they can't resign. This is like a great point, right? Because if he says steadfast, like, we're not moving off 8, Phil's worth 8, read and weep, then yeah, I think you get a haul for
they would. They would get the bag. And I'm not saying it. It's such a fun conversation. It's not a fun conversation because I'm trying to downplay like what his value is. All I'm saying is, and this is the only point, he can't make more than Quinn Hughes. That's it. He just can't. I know, and he probably should make
because
more.
the current ownership, the current management group didn't sign Quinn to that contract. Just like Pettersson can't be pissy with the fact that he only got a 3 or 4 year deal or whatever. So in the beginning, and he should have been signed to a bigger contract. Okay. He can't be pissy about that. It's different ownership group.
So if you want to keep this team, and I think, once the playoffs start and who knows how far they go, we'll have to have this conversation. Pettersson took a deal, right? Pettersson didn't max out. He could have had a bigger contract. And
everyone's going to have to take breaks now.
Sure. That's my point. So what my next point is, do you not start seeing like, okay, do you guys want a shot at making this more than a 1 year deal, more than a 1 year run? Then Hronek has to take a little bit less. And so does everybody else.
Absolutely. That's the conversation that has to be had. That's the conversation that has to be had from the player's perspective, speaking to other players about what they can do. Like, if Petey's going to take less money, he's going to want to know that money's being spent properly. Mm-hmm. And if the next guy's going to take less money, so down the road, right? So that we can go ahead and sign better free agents to fill out the bottom of your roster so that we can make moves to get guys like Sam Lafferty or re-sign guys like Dakota Joshua.
Or looking at, like, again, I mean, apparently I just forgot that Cap Friendly exists, but like a guy like Thatcher Demko, I mean, he's making $5 million.
Also making peanuts. Again, different. That was one of the great deals that Jimbo made, right? Yeah. Along with the Hughes deal. Really fucked up on the Pettersson thing.
Sure. Yeah. So anyway, he's making $4 million less than he should. Did we talk about this on the pre-show, or did we talk about this in the actual show? Everything's meshing together. It's stupid. I feel like we talked about Pettersson bridge deal, Pettersson actual deal.
It's terrible. We talked about it.
Yeah. Anyway, so
whoopsies.
I think they could get an absolute haul for him, just like they had to offer a little bit to get him in the first place. I think Filip Hronek has. I mean, would you want to see him leave? No, is the answer. No. So everyone else in the NHL is probably fully aware by now of what he looks like on a good team, on a team that is a juggernaut for at least this season. So yeah, I think he brings value to absolutely any team. And yeah, is he worth 8? Yes. I'm not going to debate that part.
I don't think he's worth 8.
You don't? What are you saying?
I think he's going to get 8. I think he can get 8.
Okay,
is what
do
I'm
you
saying.
Think he's worth?
Like, I don't know. I think 6.7.
So he's Damon Severson money.
What's Severson make 6.2?
6.2, yeah.
6.7.
So a little
If
bit.
he signs a deal for $7 million per year, I'll be like okay with that. Not a shade higher.
It's just crazy to it. I think the mental gymnastics that we're having to do on thinking about some of these is like, it's just, there's so many things that have happened this season that that's one more thing that I just don't think I can put through my brain, because like, what are we even talking about? Honestly, there's just, we just got through this Pedersen deal and we're like, oh man, it finally happened. And now like 3 days later, we're thinking like, holy crap, we could have Gensel, or we could have Toffoli, or we could have Greenway. Like, and they're trading Lindholm or something. Like, there's so much.
I think
my brain doesn't have enough capacity to like think this through anymore. It's too much.
I think the Hronek camp is going to be like, you guys had faith in us. You made the trade. You were patient with me in my year that I first got there. You put me on IR, let me healthy. You played me with Quinn right from the jump. This is a good team. Like, I think they're going to see that, and I think they're going to see the opportunity to try to win, and that we can build something good here. I truly believe. The one I'm worried about is the end of next year, when a certain $6.65 million sniper comes off the books.
Mm-hmm.
And that's another guy that we talked about getting the bag.
Yep.
Because it's a what have you done for me lately league. And Brock's done nothing for a course of 4 years for very obvious and very clear reasons. Don't get me wrong here.
Yeah.
But if it's what have you done for me lately, we're not talking about an NHL All-Star 35 goal scorer at game 65 of the regular season. Mm-hmm. If he repeats this in any way next year,
even remotely close,
this guy is going to get banged.
Yeah, he's in the 8s now, or 9s, just based on how the market works.
12, he's going to make double his money. I'm just joking.
Okay. What? Are you freaking kidding me? Okay, so we got
and then so real quickly, if they could flip Hronek, I think you get like a first plus, right? Like,
sure.
Yeah. So good Q, Grant. This is something to think about for sure.
Okay, couple questions. First question to you: is it your top 5 this week, and do you have one?
It's your top 5.
Dang it. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, quick thing, and this is going to state the obvious. It's official. They're changing all the seats to black with cup holders in Rogers Arena. It's inevitable.
Skate, baby.
Skate's coming back. I can't wait. We finally got it. They finally made it happen. Roberto Luongo will be thrilled. My top 5, I think we're going to get it. We don't have anything else to talk about, I'm pretty sure. So I got to get into this. I got to do this right.
Top five.
And if you're just tuning in late, one more time.
Top five.
Okay. So I think, did my wife leave the pen here? No, she did not. This is going to be tough for me. I don't have a pen. Oh, there it is. Found it. So top 5 this week. This is going to be kind of tough because I don't know how we're going to make this work exactly. But top 5 Olympic sports that if you were thrown into, you think that you'd have a fighting chance in. You're on mute.
Yeah, I mean, I don't need to be off mute to think that's hilarious.
We were laughing, and I think people deserve to hear your laughter. It was either that or top 5 sports that it's hardest or the top 5 hardest like activities to do in a sport, like hit a baseball from a major league pitcher,
hit a golf ball straight.
Yeah. So I think the Olympics one would be a lot funnier.
Okay, so top 5 Olympic sports
that if you were thrown in right now and given the opportunity, you think that you'd have a fighting chance at not being last. Because I think let's be fair, like doesn't matter what you get thrown into, even if you think you're good, like not being last, like you would not be the last placed person
against world ranked athletes in the same sport.
Yes. If we threw you into any of the given Olympic sports, winter or summer, I don't care. What do you think you would not finish last in?
Well, I mean, like first, you want me to go first? Is that
sure? Why not?
Okay. Well, wrestling.
Okay, that's good because you did wrestle. You did wrestle. Now,
I had aspirations. I wasn't going to the Olympics or anything.
Greco-Roman or straight up
Freestyle.
freestyle wrestling?
Yeah.
Do you have to rap with that as well?
Yeah. Yeah.
I think, you know what? I bet I could do good at discus.
Oh, okay.
I think I could be, I mean, I was okay at discus. I was never the best. But I think if you throw me in there, I could probably throw pretty far.
Okay. Okay.
I think. I mean, now
You're
I'm
instilling
starting
like
to
a
think,
tremendous amount of like confidence in me.
now I'm starting to think like, am I the best guy in the outfield in baseball? No, it's a different sport. I should be okay because you're like using your fingers to throw, and I'm pretty good at frisbee.
Okay.
So I think I could do discus. Now, again, if you guys are watching along, and not just you, Grant, but we'd love your input too. I mean, call us out on it if you're like, no way. Like you'd finish last or worse. So I'm gonna go discus. You go wrestling.
Okay, so I'll go Adam Vancouverden, and I'll say like canoeing.
Wow, good for you.
I don't know. I like to canoe. It's a lot of fun. I feel like that's
And your
I'll
arms.
go and work hard, upper body. Maybe that goes back into my heritage a little bit. Who knows? So yeah, canoeing.
I'm hesitant to say this one because it's super dangerous.
I did discus in high school. I would get destroyed. The distance they can throw is crazy. I fully agree with that.
But do you
Fully
think you
agree.
finish last though? That's what I'm asking.
Absolutely.
Okay. Like you
Do
would
you remember during the Winter Olympics? There's like the Vancouver Winter Olympics. There was the skier from like one of the like African countries, and they called him like the snow leopard.
Oh yeah.
And he made he made qualifiers and competed. He got destroyed, but like what a trip to be there, right?
I would say, okay, I'm gonna go with this. Like, I think I'd be so frightened, but I think I could be good at this luge.
Oh, that's scary as fuck.
I know. I feel like
Not speed skating is with that. I mean, your family is a family of speed skaters. Do you not?
Do you guys want me to post the video again of me speed skating? Because I would not. I wouldn't even be remotely close to last place. I wouldn't even be in the words last place.
So I think you could put speed skating in there, just like how that Australian won gold when everybody crashed in front of him.
Just on a fluke. I'd be lapped so quickly, though. Even on like a 400 meter, I'd get torched.
Just torched.
And that's like the sprint. 400 meters. That seems like a long way. No, it's actually a sprint, and they last like 20
Okay,
minutes.
so what do you got? What was your first one?
So I had discus.
Discus, that's right.
Now, do I have to do like the pentathlon or whatever, diathlon or whatever?
Heptathlete. What was your second one?
Luge.
Luge, right.
I feel like there's gonna be a day where I'm just gonna get lit up on this. Like
just log rolling.
Yeah.
Okay, so my turn. I'm picking the third one.
I'm
gonna go with rugby. Yeah, rugby sevens.
Okay, sevens. I think you'd be okay. Did you play rugby?
Yeah.
Did you?
Yeah.
Were you any good?
I made like the summer games team through high school.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. So dead last. I feel I just don't know how athletic I could be. But
you're part of a team too if you play rugby, right? So like
that's fair. That's fair.
Cheating a bit.
I don't love this sport, but maybe I could be good at this and not dead last. Beach volleyball.
Yeah, there you go.
I mean, I got the bod for it.
Do you get to be tarps off at beach volleyball?
Do you get to? I would be. It's not even a maybe. Like I'd do the rest of the show with tarps off if that's what the people wanted. But volleyball, yeah, I don't suck at volleyball. I think I'd be pretty decent. I mean, those guys they're pretty good. I don't know if I'd have like the foot strength. I mean, I've got the height. I'm 6 feet. That's pretty good.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
I'm not good at like kind of the jump spikes, but I'm pretty good at. I don't think I'd be last.
Okay.
I mean, I'd get worked probably against the obvious countries, but you know. So I got two summer and one winter, and you've got 3 potentially summer.
Yeah.
Do you think you'd be good at fencing?
Like I can build a fence really well.
That's true. I've seen you do it.
But fencing, I think that I would get lit up in.
You think so?
Oh, I think so.
Ping pong, table tennis, I think I'd get slaughtered.
Going up against another person who like has done that before.
Can you skateboard?
No.
Because they're skateboarding.
What
about touch football? Flag football.
Is that an Olympic sport?
It's coming, yeah. Flag football. Okay. But you're at some point you're going to play someone that as big as you are, and everybody. A lot of you have never met Ted in person. I'm
not a large human. You're taller than me.
You're not a large human, but he's a very broad, muscular dude. Like on the ball field, you get to see what Ted's all about.
Okay.
Yeah. He's so humble about it, and then I'm just like, man, I hate that guy. For all the good reasons.
Oh, this is hard.
So you're not saying fencing.
Fencing is not going to be in there.
Okay. Do you think? How about any of the swimming? Do you think you could do any of that?
Like possibly
judo.
Yeah, that's a good one. I did judo for a bit.
Did you? Just
be a judokan. There you go.
Judokan.
Could choke some guy out with his collar.
Can you do like a leg hold?
Grant brings up a good point here. Archery would be a good one, right?
Well, and I've been thinking about archery, right?
Shooting, right? Steeplechase would be a lot of fun. I just get destroyed on anything that involves cardio. Oh, okay. I'll take Olympic powerlifting.
I'm actually surprised it took you this long. So you're powerlifting. I think you could hang with that group. You know what? Actually, there's one in here I'm super surprised that you haven't said yet. And I'm sure you will pick it as your 5th one. And I'm going to maybe DM you just so that you've seen it. Military patrol. Is that like biathlon?
Like poodle clipping?
It's like high-fiving. Full contact
or handball would be fun.
Full contact origami. I don't know.
Murder ball would be another good one.
Is murder ball one though? Murder ball's not one. Oh no,
it's a Paralympic sport. Yeah,
that's right. That's true. So I've got volleyball. Diving, I would die. It's just if I'm not good at diving, like into pools, normal pools, I end up messing it all up. It's not good.
What about like table tennis
or equestrian? Maybe. I think I could ride a horse pretty good. You know what? I'm gonna say it, but I don't know if I'd be good. It's either between badminton,
futsal. Yeah, that's a good one.
Or shooting. I don't know. I could be good at shooting. I suppose.
Yeah, Grant's chiming in here. I think he's thinking the same thing I'm thinking, which is like team sports. Like hopefully
you can get caught in the
my team can pick me up for how bad I am.
Oh, you know what? I just seen this. Somehow this is an Olympic sport. Croquet, apparently. Is this true? Oh, early Olympic Games. That's why.
What about sailing? That'd be a good one.
Sailing.
Rhythmic gymnastics. Yeah, I'd like to see that. You'd like a rhythmic ball guy. I feel
rhythmic dancing. This is tough. Water polo is fun, but I can't swim that long. You know what? I'm gonna do archery. I feel like as long as I don't finish dead last, I would be pretty impressed with myself.
Okay.
Just call it art. Like
I got a good one. I don't know what you were planning on sending me, but
you know what I was planning. Like I'm gonna say handball. You and a handball.
A lot of fun.
It's like official dodgeball, basically.
It's like a dodgeball, an Olympic sport
with a net. Yeah.
What did you pick? Did you pick
I took archery.
Archery. That was your 4th.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to be the brake man on a bobsled team.
Oh, snap.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
Fiji, we got a bobsled team.
Oh, they've got roller speed skating? What? I'd be awful at that too. Sailing? No. Ski jumping? No.
Jesse Lumsden.
Yeah, he was in...
Beefy guy. Great
Bob-
4-5 speed.
Yeah.
Strong as hell. Could work the brake.
Totally.
Yeah.
I
What
believe he's got like a bronze.
did John
too.
Candy say? Sprinters make the best bobsledders?
There you go. Well, my wife is on that. What's it? The Sport Canada or whatever it's called, Can Sport. She's on like the thing, find the next, or the RBC training ground. She's been coaching on that.
Cool.
So she finds like same idea. Yeah, like you find
You gotta
athletes.
marry that girl.
Yeah, I did. Locked her in. She may regret it occasionally.
Before she like came to her senses.
She may regret it occasionally.
You and me both, brother.
Yeah. So yeah, she does that. It's pretty sweet actually. So she goes and tries to find like athletes that are good at these things, and they're like, "Hey, you'd be good at this sport." So it's always neat when she comes home and talks about kind of that thing, because I'm like, "All right, well," or she'll be like, "Check out this guy's highlights from this sport." I'm like, "Holy crap, he would be good at this."
Sorry, I know. We just saw the combine, right? There was a new
Yes.
record set for the 40. Did you see that?
And I was going to bring that up. Like, I know that wasn't hockey, but yes, that it's been broken.
Yeah.
So crazy.
And not only has it been broken, but so he beat Usain Bolt's 40
No kidding.
in his best 100-meter run.
Really?
So that the split 40 was faster than Usain Bolt.
Yeah, unfortunately, what they count for Usain.
I don't know how old Bolt is now, but he's probably still running like sub-10s.
So I'm wondering, do I put golf on there?
Yeah, why not?
Screw it. I'm going to put golf. I likely would finish last in that, but golf's a funny sport. You get the right day, like, you know what, Ryan? All the stars align for you. And you shot a plus 17, but Joey over here shot a plus 18.
But Joey broke his hand.
You get hot on the putter, I tell you. People don't talk about your cross-handed grip and how you slice every single drive.
Yeah. But what I wouldn't pay to see you compete in rhythmic gymnastics, though.
I think I have the body for it.
Hey.
I mean,
I'm
put me in a little leotard with some rainbows and some stripes and stuff.
There's that word again.
What word? What word did he say?
Nothing. Put you in what?
Oh, this is a safe space.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, geez. Oh, that was fun. So cup holders for the Canucks, black seats, and we just did top 5. That was interesting. I found out a lot about you, and yet I already knew most of it.
Very practical, I feel like my list was. I didn't really go out that far.
So before we go to bed, before everybody leaves us for the evening, I'm just going to do one quick check here because we're in trade season. Is there a trade? No, it does not look like there's a trade. Did you see, sorry, completely off topic. Did you see the soccer game tonight for the women's national team?
I did not.
There's like,
but I was watching soccer. I was watching Wrexham actually before this.
So
you watched that show? It's pretty cool.
I haven't. It's on my list. It's of many list things. There's like pools and pools of water. Like you saw this one gal, she's on a breakaway and the ball, like she passed the ball because it just stopped. That's not good. Those are not good conditions, folks. Especially when it's, I think, Canada, US. Like you probably want a little bit better showing that. So anyway, kind of random.
Before we wrap it up here, episode 1, Big Brother Canada in the books. Matt's hanging in there. Yeah. When last we checked, because I'm not caught up just yet, he was still hanging in there in the first opening challenge with the rope hang stuff. But yeah, my boy.
Is he on Twitter or anything?
Not right now. He's in the house.
No, but does he have a Twitter account?
He's not on Twitter, but they're on Facebook. Both him and my other cousin Keenan. So you could probably follow them at All Into Fitness.
Yeah,
so both of them do personal training.
You think Ted is fit?
They are in significantly better shape than I.
Ted's like the fittest dude I know.
I am.
Put him to shame.
I am the smallest, probably least athletic, and in worst shape member of my Fijian family.
And I would give for one day to have Ted's athletic abilities. So just to give
It's
you an
actually
idea,
not that good. I just try hard.
No, you don't. I've seen you some days. You do not try hard, and it sucks.
So yeah,
Only
all in the number 2 athletics.
Go check them
All
out.
into athletics, Wong Brothers.
I mean, how great is that? Someone you know.
You have to edit out me giving the wrong address first.
That's fine. I'm sure people, if you're loyal enough, you'll listen to the show right through and figure it out that he corrected himself. So there you go. We had lots of fun. I had lots of fun.
Yeah, I should. Here, I'll show you. I'll show you a thing.
He's going to show me a thing. Am I sharing this?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Okay. Those are all your other
yeah.
tabs. The last time you showed me some stuff I didn't need to see.
Those are the boys. So Matthew on the left is in the house right now, and that's Keenan on the right.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, couple of units. Those boys.
Oh, it's gross.
Yeah,
it's really not fair. It's not fair that life treats the rest of us this way, and some of the chosen few get to look like that. It's fine. You know what? Being Harry's okay. I think so.
Yeah.
Anyway, this has been a lot of fun, man. Appreciate it.
Good.
There is a Vegas Golden Knights Canucks game on Thursday. The trade deadline is Friday. And the next time you see my beautiful face on this show, I might have a Connor Bedard card out of one of these guys.
A Bedard card?
Bedard card. Bedard card. Bedard card. Bedard card. Anyway, this has been another successful episode of the PP1 podcast on the Hockey Podcast Network, a menagerie of hockey podcasts. You can catch every single NHL team and a little bit more on the Hockey Podcast Network. We're also brought to you in concert with DraftKings Sportsbook app. Promo code THPN. That's promo code THPN. Get on it. Ah, man, it's going to be a long weekend. Winnipeg Jets on Saturday as well. Things are getting crazy.
Getting spicy. Dallas projected to win the West.
Good for them.
Yeah.
Them and Logan Stankoven. Jeez, that kid's good. Canucks probably should have tried to draft him, but whatever. Yeah. Anyway, on behalf of my good third line scrub friend Ted, I am the middle six forward Ryan. This is PP1 Podcast. Peace out.